I do believe that there are some people who have the ability to talk um, to people who have crossed over because, as you know, especially, and I will tell you now, I believe that when we die, it's just our physical bodies that die, and whatever makes us, whatever spirit is in us, goes on to something else. And I've heard many, many stories about people who have been able to communicate with people who have crossed over. When my mom died, there is an organization called Institute of Noetic Sciences, which was started by one of the astronauts because when he was up there, he had an experience and he said there's so much more than just what we know. So he started this, and IONS has to do with more esoteric topics. And there was a woman from IONS who was talking about surviving death, and I didn't realize it, but she was a medium. So she came in and she was talking about her experiences as a medium. And this was in the city. She and I had lunch together, and at the end of the class, I asked if I could make an appointment to see her, just on the just the two of us, and actually have a consultation, see if she could contact my mother. And she's talking about all of these people, and at one point she said, I see this woman sitting in a kitchen, and she's got long gray hair, and she wears it on top of her head, and she said her name has an I in it. And I'm going like, no, no, no. And then she finally said, I don't think it is I, like I, but she said, it's an E sound. And I said, oh my God, you got my grandmother who used to sit in the kitchen, gray hair, wear it on top of her head. And in Polish, she was Babci, Babci.
Wow.
So it's like, okay, it's she said something, she stuck to it. She knew she was gonna, get me to identify that person, and she did. And the whole meeting that we had was like that. And then she kept telling me, she said, your mother has a gift for you. And we had talked about, things that my mother had gone through, and basically she's saying, oh, well, your mother said, well, this is what was happening and that was what was happening. At one point my mother told me that I was going to burn in hell, and she said she's so sorry she said that, she didn't mean it. We just completely miscommunicated, about something. um, so then, as I said, she said, you're going to get a gift. She said, I think it's jewelry. She said, I see silver. She said, I see pearls. And I said, okay, I don't know where they're coming from because I've gotten everything that belonged to my mother. And she said, no, you're getting that because she said it means a lot to you. And I said, if I don't know what it is, I don't see how it could, because yes, I believe everything you're telling me, but at the same time, I want to get down to the bottom of everything you're telling me. Like, we figured out that was my babshi we're talking about. Now, what the hell is this about the present? So she said, all right, let me tell you a story. She said, I was on a train one time with this book, and she said, I had read this book probably about 20 times. And she said, I opened the book and an envelope fell out of it. And she said the envelope contained a note from my grandmother telling me that, who had died like 20 years prior to all of this, telling me that she loved me, that she was proud of me, and that she knew that what I was doing, working as a medium, was the path that I should be following. And she said, I have no idea how that envelope could have been in the book for all of the years I had it and all of the times I read it without my finding it. I'm not going to say my grandmother arranged to have it put in the book, but she said it was from my mother, my grandmother. I recognized the writing. So she said, that's what you are going to get from your mother. I said, okay. I went home and there was a packet on the stairs waiting for me. Beautiful silver chain. I had never seen it before with pearls on it. And it's like, oh, okay, I've got it upstairs. I can go upstairs. I could get it. I've got it hanging on her picture up there. It's very delicate. I was always afraid if I wore it, it might break and I might lose it. And I didn't want to lose something like that. Right. So now it's like, well, this is really cool, but this is nothing like the letter from the grandmother of the woman who gave me this information. Many years went by, probably about 20 years went by, and I moved into this house. And when I was in the other house, my mother had given me some towels, and some of them were blue, and that's perfect. I love blue. And the rest of them, they were brown, and they had this funny little flower on them, and it not at all my taste. So I just kind of stuffed them in a closet somewhere. And then when I was packing to move here, I was pulling out, everything like that. I was using it to wrap things. So I moved into this house, and I had been here maybe about 3 or 4 months. And at that point, it's like I will use any towel, I've got. I'm not going to be fussy. This is the first house I've ever, had a mortgage on, and we're going to be really frugal for a little while here at least. One day I was in the bathroom, and one of the towels was in the rack where the towel is now. And I looked in the mirror, and I had lived here, but I'm not really all that observant. There was a little band across the entire shower, brown, with all kinds of very stylized white flowers. And I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at the towel. And if somebody had gone out and special ordered towels for me, they could not have come any closer to matching that. And at that point I said, thank you, Mom. I know now this is where I'm meant to be. You bought the towels for me so many years ago, and it was like, okay, I'm going to be fine here. I'm going to love it here. This is the house I was meant to be in.